never in doubt. Duke wins it 74-51. 23-point win. Hope you laid the 6, because this was never in doubt. They opened the game on an 11-0 run and never looked back. Duke, a 5 seed, not going to suffer the fate of that 12-5 game. I think the 12-5, by the way, is starting to fade. It's more so the 15 and the 13 now. The 12-5 is not the upset anymore, really. Doesn't happen. At least didn't happen here. Oral Roberts came in hot, right? They had won 17 in a row. That win streak is over. Duke's win streak continues. They've now won 10 in a row. As they move on, they'll play the winner of Louisiana and Tennessee in the next round. And really what Jon Scheyer talked about in this game was defense. They held Oral Roberts to 30% from the floor. Get some instant analysis here with Chip Patterson, and welcome in Kyle Boone as well. Chip, I'll go to you first here. This was never in doubt. How would you describe this game? Really workmanlike for Duke.
Yeah, and without Kyle Filipowski playing very well. I mean, that for a lot of the season has been your best player. You get 23 from Jeremy Roach, and I think about Jeremy Roach, a junior, amidst all these freshmen. There are going to be times, if Duke is going to make a deep NCAA tournament run, where Roach is going to have the ball in his hands, and he's going to have to keep everybody under control. But we saw Dariq Whitehead be able to get out there and come up with huge shots. We saw the rest of this team that is getting better and better throughout this winning streak. And the way that things have gone, the fact that Duke was able to not only play to expectations, but exceed those expectations, rely on the defense that was able to sustain their winning until the rest of the team got healthy and got caught up to speed. Just a phenomenal performance by the Blue Devils.
Yeah, and Chip, I know people like to clown on Duke, but this is what happens when you accumulate high-level talent. They've got McDonald's All-Americans. They had 4 5-star recruits that they signed who are freshmen on this class. A 5th on the roster if you include Jeremy Roach, who was huge today, 23 points for the Blue Devils. And this team seems to be kind of firing on all cylinders at just the right time. This is kind of what you expect from a young team who has kind of figured things out down the stretch. Now they've won 10 in a row. They're coming off an ACC tournament title win. Looked really good today. And Oral Roberts, that was a great story. They had some magic in the NCAA tournament a couple years ago, but stood no chance against a really talented Duke team that appears to be kind of firing on all cylinders at just the right time.
Yeah, because early on this season, we really didn't know who Duke was, right? We were trying to figure it out with this freshman class. Jon Scheyer's first season. They went to the Final Four last year in Coach K's final season. So what do you really expect in Jon Scheyer's first season? Look, as a 5 seed, I think a lot of us underestimated how good this team is. I mean, this team could win the region. They've got Purdue in this region. They've got Marquette in this region. This is a team that can easily get to the – not say easily. I don't want to say easy because nothing's easy in March. But this is a team that arguably could make a deep run here for a second straight year, Chip.
Without a doubt. And the odds makers reflected that. When you started to look at the odds of being able to win the East region, when you started to consider that the East regional semifinal and the East regional final, where is it going to be played? Oh, yeah, Cameron North, a.k.a. Madison Square Garden, where Duke plays 1 game every single year and is going to have tons of alumni and fans all around that area and all around that building. This is going to be a very enticing storyline for us to follow the rest of the way because Duke was a pick for many to be able to get out of this region and make it to the Final Four. After seeing this kind of performance and the way that they did it, again, without Kyle Filipowski really being himself, I think that we got to even raise our expectations for Duke and start talking about them in the same conversation as some of the Final Four contenders.
Kyle, where does Duke meet its most resistance here in this region?
Yeah, it's got to be with Purdue, I think, Hakeem. I mean, this is the number 1 seed in the East region. Purdue has, I think, the best player in the tournament in Zach Edey. Will be a really interesting matchup if that ever comes to fruition. Look, I have Duke going to the Final Four. I think Duke this season is probably the strongest case for why the selection committee should consider recent performance, because if you go to this region specifically, Purdue's the number 1 seed in the region, Duke is the 5 seed. You could argue they should be flipped. Duke could arguably be the number 1 seed in this region just based off what we've seen from them the last 6 weeks and how Purdue has struggled of late. It's a really interesting matchup for Purdue. Would not be surprised if the Blue Devils came out of this region. This is a really tough region. Purdue's in this region. FAU is in this region, team that won more games than anyone in college basketball. Marquette is in this region, Kansas State. So It's going to be tough if Duke can advance out of this pod, but the way they look today, it doesn't seem surprising that they do that.
He said Marquette there. Marquette also comes into the tournament on what, a 9-game win streak. Duke comes in on a 9-game win streak, 10 in a row. Look, I think it's going to be Marquette and Duke.
And how about this?
Region.
You know, when we saw Arizona lose, when we saw San Diego State struggle just a little bit, you start to think about the narrative that these teams that go deep in the conference tournament, that they might not have any legs. Here we have a Duke team that went and won the ACC conference tournament and showed one of their best performances, one of the most complete performances of the entire year. Of course, we've still got Texas on the horizon and Marquette, as you just mentioned, off the Big East tournament title to test that theory.
All right, so Duke with a dominant win, 74-51 over Oral Roberts, 10 in a row for the Duke Blue Devils, and they advance to the next round, await the winner of Tennessee and Louisiana. Kyle Boone and Chip Patterson here on CBS Sports HQ. Thank you, men. And hey, for more March Madness, be sure to download the March Madness live app to stream every game from your phone, tablet, computer, or your favorite streaming device. You can watch the games, you can keep up with the box scores, you can watch clips, you can watch us on CBS Sports HQ. You got all kind of ways to watch. Scan the QR code on your screen right now and get in to the action. Much more live wagering and highlights and analysis throughout the night here on CBS Sports HQ.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.